army uniform to front stolen car deals. All right, that story is there on page 8, sweeping over to page 25. All right, my pastor husband deserted home, refused to call, visit me, a sickle cell child. All right, my husband sought greener pasture, abandoned me. My husband smokes Indian hemp, beats me blue and black, woman tells court. My wife says my manhood is small, beats me. That's according to the husband. And of course, my wife goes through my phone calls, abuses, threatenings my female customer, man tells court. Female customers indeed. All right, that's what he said. All right, on the entertainment page, The Real Housewife Ultimate Girls Trip Africa Reunion premiere on Showmax. All right, Dami Twitch steps into filmmaking with romantic comedy Call of My Life. All right, Thames, Brother Boy set new Billboard record for African artists. All right, Society Gist, Kemi Ononuga set to redefine history. Primate Ayodele breaks religious boundaries. Leo Stan, AK favor purpose at 70. All right, we'll come to page 16. We have the story already taken. And of course, my worst moment in school motivated me to go to get 5.0 CGPA. Dumbe Duru said that, graduate. All right, your government, women advocates commend BGDI for empowering women with political skills. All right, that story is there on page 19. All right, let's go to other stories for this morning. On page 28, President Bola Tinubu and King's College tie. Okay, RAMFAC held Tinubu executive order on direct remittance of oil, gas revenue. All right, some sports stories here this morning. Eagle had best attack at AFCON 2025. Onuchu wins goal of the week award. We also have police game aimed to produce future champions for Nigerians. Chukwueze rule out of Sunderland clash. All right, of course, those are some of the stories from the Saturday Tribune of this morning. All right, of course, I'll take other stories this morning. All right, other stories this morning from the Nation newspaper. You have polls test for APC, ADC, and NPP in FCT Kano Rivers. Right, Tinubu urges restraint, caution security agencies against intimidation, charges INEC on to ensure smooth accreditation from transmission of results. APC, ADC, 15 others battle for 1,680,315 votes in the FCT. All right, on page 29, Tinubu EO will curb leakage, boost federation account inflow. That's RAMFAC. And why executive order is more than routine directive coming from the minister. All right, Trump attacks Georgia's as U.S. Supreme Court and all gold tariff. President exceed his power. The story is on page 3. We'll go on a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll take more stories from the Nation newspaper. Stay with us.
Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Shine on.
All right, all the stories that made the headline this morning. Welcome back. Controversy, dogs rape claims by TikTok Marble. That story is on page 2. Labels, fourth rape story, victim claim valid. That's according to the police. Out 10 masked gunmen invaded palace, killed Ondo monarch. The The story is on page 19. My close shave with death during COVID-19 pandemic. That's ex-Governor Ipeazu. Why I killed my boss by Onitsha apprentice says I'm ready for consequences. That story is on page 13. All right, inside headline stories, of course, we have the story El-Rufai for arraignment, February 25th, on alleged cybercrime offenses. Right, we'll go to page 4. Polls test for APC, ADC, and NPP in FCT Kano Rivers elections. All eyes on FCT area council election as litmus test for 2027. RS capital gain tax. We want partners, not speculators. That's coming from Edu. CBN to make international money transfer cheaper for small businesses. Supreme Court affirms national industrial court jurisdiction on certain defamatory cases. UNICEF hailed Nigeria's 14 million birth registration in 2 years. Wow. FG to stop funding non-performing projects to reach $1 trillion goal. Right, we'll go to other story, Kempashi from Ibadan. In 2027, that story is a commentary story there. All right, we have some other stories there this morning. My close shave with that during COVID-19 Electoral Act reason trumps over ignore mischief. Our legacy outlive the visionaries. All right. We also have there on page 10, NAS history and tale of Governor Oti. You also have on page 11, Zulum OK's 12.9 billion naira to sponsor Borno indigenes for aeronautic and engineering. Wow. That's a good one. All right, I'm ready for the consequence, okay? The story of the boy who killed her boss, the apprentice. All right, we'll go to other stories, other pages there. And we'll come to Adegboye real-time transmission of election results possible if you want to know what? Go check. Yari's chieftaincy and Alafin's promotion of Nigeria Unity Ondo APC analyzing stakeholders meeting. All right, we'll come to some other stories there on page 27. Customs seized 1,630 jerry cans of smuggled petrol worth 40.7 million naira in Lagos. FG Abiodun gives Nigeria best teacher car house. Wow. All right, police dismiss allegation of missing seized protest equipment. The story is also there on page 27. Home design should be for better living, not luxury. And we'll come to page 28 and 29. Tinubu's executive order, Drug Abuse Foundation, Royal Fathers support. Zulu meets 56 state post-sponsored doctors, approves training fund. Aliyah declare free education in public school, launches Braze Up. All right, we'll come to massive oil spill threatens Bayelsa community. Obi Kubana acquires Asaba land lawfully. Title property transfer, that's according to the lawyer. All right, Sports Extra, you have Barcelona urged to break bank for elite striker Osemene. Ndidi returns to training after dad's funeral. Onochi Scope Goal of the Week award. And of course, the last one there, do we still have Shane? All right, those are the stories that made the headline. We'll go on a break, and when we come back, of course, we'll take you through more activities. But right now, it will be Governor's activities for the week. Stay tuned.
Speaking at the event, Governor Seyi Makinde said that the development reflects his administration's commitment to restoring order and improving the trading environment in the area. He added that traders currently operating across the road will be relocated within the next 6 months. The governor also noted that the shops were built from the state commonwealth and will be allocated free of charge to beneficiaries.
540 stores ló wà níbí. Wọn ò ní gba £1 lọ́wọ́ ẹnì kankan. orúkọ yín wà lọ́wọ́ wa tí anybody tí ó ti forúkọ sílẹ̀ nígbà tí mo wá àdírẹ́sì yín first tí wọn ò bá allocate fún yín ẹ jẹ́ kí n mọ̀ wọn ò tiẹ̀ lè ṣe they will allocate it to you.
In his welcome address, the chairman of the North Local Government, Honorable Shehu Olufade, commended Governor Seyi Makinde for his unwavering commitment to people-centered governance. He described the project as further evidence of the governor's dedication to improving the lives of residents, adding that his presence at the event was more than ceremonial, but a demonstration of his love and responsibility towards the people of Oyo State.
This modern facility we are commissioned today stands as yet another proof of your people-centered leadership. You saw the challenges our traders face operating by the roadside, exposure to harsh weather, insecurity, and environmental hazard, and took your decisive action. Today, our trader will be relocated from the roadside into comfortable, well-structured shop provided free of charge.
Olufade further stressed that providing the shop free of charge highlights the administration's practical and compassionate approach to governance, reflecting Governor Makinde's resolve to always seek better alternatives before making decisions that affect the people. In his goodwill message, the Babaloja General of Oyo State, Alhaji Ekine Abbas, appreciated the governor for the massive project and urged traders to desist from roadside trading. Delivering the vote of thanks, the Babaloja of Bodija Market, Alhaji Adire Nijimo, expressed gratitude to the governor on behalf of the traders for providing them with comfort and ease in conducting their businesses. The event had in attendance the Deputy Governor, Barrister Bayo Lawal, the Speaker, State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin, represented by the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Mohammed Fadeyi, the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Musbai Babatunde, state and federal lawmakers, the State Head of Service, Mrs. Olubumi Oni, the Chief of Staff to the Governor, Honorable Shegun Ogunwuyi, Senator Monsurat Sumonu, commissioners, political appointees, among whom was the chairman of BCOS, Mrs. Dotun Olaitan.
All right, you welcome back. It's still Saturday special. Of course, that was the governor's activity, commissioning local shops, of course, ultra modern shops for markets, men and women in Bodija. Okay, so let's quickly go on a travelogue. We're going to see what the Zamzam water looks like. That's where we're going. Join us as we go to see what it looks like.
Ancient mythology tells the tale of how Prophet Ibrahim relocated his second wife, Hajara, and her infant son, Ismail, to a desert that has now become the Muslim holiest city, Mecca, as commanded by Almighty Allah. According to history, the mother, Hajara, and her son, Ismail, who were left stranded in the desert, were thirsty and tired. And after the mother ran severally in search of water in the desert, a source of miraculous water sprang up at the feet of her son to satiate them, and this became known as Zamzam water. This water is known as Zamzam water, as Hajara called out, Zum Zum, stop, stop, as the water kept flowing, in fear it will run out. Today, the Zamzam well is one of the most visited places in Islam and considered one of the rewards of Hajj and Umrah. Zamzam tap are located in strategic places in Haram Mosque in Mecca. Likewise, it is supplied to the Prophet Muhammad's mosque in Medina and are distributed in thousands of water containers and bottles to the worshippers. Speaking with BCOS News, an Islamic prophetic medicine practitioner, Mr. Muhyiddin Olawi, described Zamzam water as a natural gift and blessing from Almighty Allah.
Zamzam is a kind of the water you must have in your home, no matter how the amount. You must make sure that you have it. Even a breastfeeding woman to breastfeed their baby for 6 months, I will advise. It's not Islamically proven. I'm just advising people. If you want to give the first water you need to give your child after 6 months, let it be Zamzam, so that to make them to improve their cognitive aspect in life when they are facing. If you are taking Zamzam, you'll be very okay and you will be very all right when you are taking Zamzam. According to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when you are drinking Zamzam, you can use Zamzam to cure any kind of disease in your body. Let your intention be that if you want this, just spray it on the Zamzam and you can use it to drink it and use it to rub your body. Zamzam water is odorless, is tasteless, and it's also the color is just a natural one.
An Islamic scholar and former HOD, Arabic and Islamic Studies, University of Ibadan, Professor Wale Abbas, also spoke on the spiritual benefit of the sacred water.
People use it for a lot of things. We use it for ablution. That's spiritual too. It's good for ablution. People use it for ablution in the haram. People use it to quench their thirst. People use it for a lot of things. But people use it to cure themselves of many diseases. We have had practically people have used this to cure diseases. I've heard that some people who are blind, they use it and the eye came back to function. People who had cancer, we have heard that they use it to cure the cancerous part of their body. So a lot of things. Is a miracle, is a gift from Allah. So, yeah, and that is why when people go on Hajj, you will want to bring whatever quantity home. And it is said that in one of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that when you have that Zamzam at home, all these evil spirits cannot just attack your home. That many Muslims do. I do. You can't get to my house anytime and you don't find Zamzam water. No, there is there. So that's the spiritual aspect. People use it to cure a lot of ailments. And particularly all these our alphas who specialize in what they call jalabi, they use it. Anytime they want to do hantu, they prefer it because they know better, because they are seriously vast in that aspect. They know better that it's not an ordinary water. It's an extraordinary water put in place by Allah himself, and nobody knows the source. It has no properties like any other water.
In a nutshell, Zamzam is a blessing from Almighty Allah to Mecca and its pilgrims. One of Zamzam's most outstanding characteristics is that it never dries out. Each year, millions around the world drink Zamzam water while performing Hajj and Umrah, and it is also supplied in huge quantities across the world. If you have friends or family members traveling to Saudi Arabia for Hajj or Umrah, don't forget to ask them to bring back Zamzam water for you upon their return. Olalekan Sulaiman, reporting for Saturday Special.
malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys.
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on malaria gone.
All right, welcome back. It's still Saturday special on the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. All right, we're now in the interview segment of this morning. And of course, we'll be looking at a topic that you would love to delve into or to know more about. But first, let me introduce the guest in the studio with us this morning. We have two guests here with us this morning, a male and a female. And I usually love this combination. All right, we have Dr. Abdulateef Adeoti, who is a medical social worker at the Premier University of Ibadan.
Good morning.
Welcome to the program, sir.
Good morning.
All right, we also have here with us this morning Barrister Adesumisola Abiono. She is a legal practitioner, a member of the Child Protection Network, Oyo State chapter. You're welcome this morning.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you here.
Good morning.
Yes. And we're going to be looking at what we call child marriage. Of course, let's quickly look at the history of child marriage. Child marriage has historically been widespread, culturally acceptable practice across many societies, with girls often married shortly after reaching puberty, facilitate family alliance, economic contract, and due to social norms. Common from ancient times through the 19th century, this practice was deeply ingrained in both European and global culture. But again, without going into too many details, I'd like to let us know that every day, according to reports, 39,000 girls are being married out, and more than 140 million girls are being made brides yearly, according to reports. And of course, research has also found that marriages have many long-term negative consequences for child bride. Marriage before the age of 18 is a fundamental violation of the human rights, and many factors interact to place a child at the risk of marriage, including poverty and many more. So let me start with Dr. Abdulateef Adeoti. Doctor,
Good morning.
as a social worker, good morning once again.
Yeah.
As a social worker, why would somebody think of giving out a girl out in marriage? And when giving out the girl out in marriage, they're not giving her to her age mate. They're giving her out to someone whom is about 20 years older than her in some cases 30 years, 40 years older than her. You know, the age difference. Why would the girls go through this? I see it as a punishment. This societal, ungodly and unholy act.
Yes, thank you for the questions. But before, first of all, explain the reason why we have some of these problems. Where we have the reason why we have some of these problems that's ongoing. First of all, look at what is early marriage. It's a forceful marriage initiated by the parent or the guardian without the consent of the child involved. And of course, we have several reasons why we have why this thing continues. Poverty is part of it, the religion, the cultural practices, and so many more. Why people engage in their practices, even despite the fact that we have this Child Rights Act. Most of the states that even adopted that domesticated the law in their own state, there's no any implementations on most of those states, aside from particularly in the southern part of the country here, we still have this thing continuous. Yes. There's so
In
many
the
reasons.
southern part of the country?
Yes.
Where in the southern part?
Yes, specifically if you go to the eastern part of the country, particularly in Imbos, yes, these things still occur.
Child marriage?
Yes.
Wow, I thought the
Yes.
girls were usually older before they're given up.
No.
Wow.
You see, once the guy get pregnant, and of course, in order not to bring a shame into the family, they will marry the lady out,
No matter the age.
no matter the age.
Wow. All right, let me go to Barrister Adesumi. Barrister, tell us child marriage. Let's look at the legal perspective. And as a child protector, the concept of child marriage. What do you think necessitated giving out a girl? Because again, you talked about poverty. I think when it is a norm, it's not just about poverty. It's about following the norms, the culture of a particular society. So, which means that no matter the age of the child, a child can be given out. Even if, in the local setting where the child is the child of a KBC or a ballet, but because it's a norm in the society.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would want to start by saying that child marriage is a marriage involving a child, be it a boy or a girl, below the age of 18. It is also known or can be called early forced marriage. So it does not matter whether it's a boy or a girl, whether it's a marriage between two children or a child and an adult. The moment a child below the age of 18 is involved, then it makes it child marriage. So having laid that foundation, I would also want to state the fact that there are many factors that occasion it. And like you have said, societal norm is one of them. Like in Bauchi State, where we have the highest rate of child marriage in Nigeria, the societal norm there is that children, especially girls, they see them because of some factors, like seeing girls for their roles as wife and mother, not seeing their potentials, not seeing that they can be their educational capabilities and all of that. So they tend to say, okay, let the girls get married. For instance, now, if you see, in a family, the moment the parents are having economical problem, maybe financial problem, and they want some children to drop from school, the first to be considered are the girls. That, okay, let them step down, at least they will get married and all of that. So these are some of the societal norms that causes this issue of child marriage. Of course, there are several other factors. We have the religious coloration, we have poverty.
Which religion encourages child marriage?
Yes, we have a religion here in Nigeria that believes that when children reaches the puberty age, that they are ripe enough to get married, and they place it under a background that they don't want these children to lose their virginity, they don't want them to become corrupt, so they think the best thing is to give them out in early marriage.
But we see girls who, doctor, we see girls who get to about over 20 and still get married as a virgin. We've seen it very well even way back, even when, the Yorubas would say, the eyes were dark. We see girls, if you get married,
yes,
and you didn't go as a virgin,
yes,
it's a shame on the family.
Yes, most of those that even get to 20 or above before they get married are probably from the children from the elite. Why, like she has really said, most of those things happens in more of the rural areas, which of course they could not be able to afford the guys' educations. And they see it as a way of escaping their responsibility.
But has it changed anything? Has it changed their financial and economic status?
At all. It has even compounded the whole situations.
So how come as society we're not learning? Because one would have thought that in the process of developing, being a developing nation, we'll be learning from our errors.
You see, the problem is that until we have a strong legal framework, that will be able
legal framework?
Yes, that will be able to everybody involved will be able to comply it accordingly. Like I said, most of the states that even adopted the 2003 Child Rights Act, most of them that domesticated the law in their state are not really implementing it.
But we domesticated in 2006 in your state.
Yes. Is it properly implemented for your state?
Why do you think it's not properly implemented?
We see students be 18 years, it's less than 18 years, that will get married.
So where is it rampant in your state?
Of course, when we get to rural, even the urban center here, we have it there. If you go to the interior part of Bada here and part of the rural areas in other section of your state, you see it's happening. And
now,
have you ever seen where some of those people that are involved are being arrested? No.
Okay, Barrister, who should be blamed for child marriage? Somebody has to take responsibility.
Yes. Well, we cannot pinpoint. A lot of things are involved. A lot of people are involved. A lot of organizations, government bodies, and all of that. So let me take it from the Child Rights Act 2003. Yes, it has done a good work for us by placing the age of maturity at 18. But then, yes, we know that the 36 states in Nigeria has adopted the Child Rights Act, but a lot of these states, we still have about 11 of them that are yet to fully implement the law, especially the northern states. They have adopted it. Yes, some has their child protection laws, but they are yet to gazette it. And once it's not gazetted, it cannot be enforced in the courts. So we have this issue. So the government has their part. The Child Rights Act is a federal law, but they still has to go further to ensure that every state not only adopt it, but implement it, gazette it, and it becomes enforceable in their courts. Secondly, like Child Protection Network, CPN, we go out on advocacy visit. Our religious leaders, our community leaders, they need to be enlightened. They need to know that a girl child can be more than a wife and a mother. A girl child has the potential, has the capability to become great intellects. So when they begin to see girls for their value, and when we shun this inequality, when we stop this barbaric line of thought that girls are inferior to boys, then a lot of things will begin to change. Things will begin to take shape. Of course, access to education. Girls should be retained in school. Government, parents must come together to do everything to ensure that our girls are retained in school. When girls are retained in school, child marriage reduces drastically. Because, of course, they become, their mind is emancipated, they become enlightened, and they can do better for themselves. So these are some of the things stakeholders generally need to do, from the government to the community, to the parents, to the religious leaders, and all of them.
All right, Dr.
Yeah.
Your perspective, who should be blamed for child marriage?
Well, it's a lot of stakeholders that are involved. The government is also involved, the parents, and the majorly religious leaders are also involved. They are also culpable, because they are the ones that are supposed to, enforce some of these laws into every household. A lot of people, the parents, particularly those in the rural areas, who are not really having the value of educations, they believe that no matter the kind of education you give to a child, it's eventually end up in somebody's house. So that is why they give more priority to men or to boy than the guy.
Okay, so having said that, let's now look at, you have mentioned a few of the courses, you've talked about poverty, you've talked about customs.
Yeah.
Now let's look at the effects on the girls that are being married away. Let's look at the effect, and let's break it down one after the other.
Yeah, the effects are very enormous. Of course, the issue of health conditions. Some of them, particularly if you go back to the northern part of the country where we have this early marriage earlier, you see this vaginal fistula.
VVF.
VVF are more common there. There's still births and what do you call it, All these health conditions are more common among this young lady who get married earlier, and that is on the health side. Then even on the education too, they don't allow them to have access to educations. They see them as also as properties to be inherited. I mean, the girl child. Yes, those are the effects
Of
of getting this girl child married off
early in life.
early in life.
Okay, let's go to Barrister. Barrister, what are the effects? And let's also take it from angles where we also look at the psychological perspective.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I was still talking about the effects of child marriage. I would want to categorize it under 3 categories.
Okay, before you categorize, quickly, let's pay some bills. We need to go on a commercial break. When we come back, of course, Barrister Biono will air views. Stay with us, don't go away.
Alright everyone, open your ears, make we talk. Time don't reach to rearrange the sounds to give una small wisdom. Sounds mighty fresh now, but in our own, I beg no be so. Before una go talk, say our smile no reach. Make una think I'm twice so.
Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world?
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's a time to brush. No more cover mouth.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
All right, welcome back. It's still Saturday special. Of course, our guests are still here. Barrister Ade Smisola Abiono. And we also have Dr. Abdulateef Adeoti. Both are in the studio with us this morning. And before we went on that break, Barrister was trying to explain to us 3 stages of the effects that the early child marriage have on the girls.
Thank you, ma'am. I was talking about 3 categories. So the first I would like to talk about, of course, which embodies the psychological effect, is the health implication on a child. We should look at the obstetric fistula. This is a major problem for girls that goes into pregnancy, childbirth, too early in life. You see, and this has occasioned high infant mortality rates in our society because these girls are not biologically matured enough to go through the rigors of pregnancy, childbirth, and even nursing a child. So talking about the psychological effect that you spoke about, like the United Nations referred to child marriage as a violation of human rights, because these girls, their future are determined for them even before they get to know who they are and what they want for their life.
That's if there's a future.
That's if there's a future. So before they even come to discover who they are, the path of their life has already been channeled right before them. So the psychological effect is always there, like they are nothing significant. They go about life thinking that their value is already reduced and their value is all about being married and having children. So they see themselves as commodities. They see their entire life tied to the husband. And that is why we have a high rate of domestic violence in these situations, because the girls cannot even do anything for themselves. They are too young to do anything for themselves. And I should also talk about the educational implication. They are, of course, they remain primitive. They are not educated. They are not enlightened. They cannot compare with their counterparts around the world. That is where you see what their value is drastically reduced. They don't go to school. They don't know much. They just live their life. And the cycle of poverty and lack of exposure continues. Because when a child of 15, 13, 12 gets married, she sees that as the only way of life. And when she has a daughter too, she's already thinking about sending her out in marriage at the age of 13, because that was what was handed over to her. So the cycle continues. These are some of the implications. And of course, the economic implication is loss of earning, loss of productivity, because you see these girls, most of them end up in manual labor. They cannot, of course, they do not have the technical know-how to do intellectual work. So the economic loss is there, the financial loss, and it's not only affect the girl child now, it affects the community and come back to affect the entire nation. So it's a serious matter.
Let me come to Doctor. Why I'm just seated, it just ran through my mind, and I'm wondering, men who marry these girls, what do they think about when they have sexual intercourse with these girls? What comes to their mind? Because we're now seeing explosion, or explosion in the number of rape cases, sexual and gender-based violence. And we're not thinking that when we feel that a man of over 40 or 50 is raping a child of 3 months, it starts somewhere in the head. I don't know. I'm just thinking, because, I mean, if someone could, you're not looking at that girl as the size of your daughter, and then you could grab that girl and have sexual intercourse with her. First, you will give her a big tear in a private space, come up with other damages that come before you even start talking about pregnancy. I can't imagine it.
Yeah. Well, in the southern part of the country here, particularly in the western part of Nigeria, you see, when we see that kind of that happens, you see, it's something one cannot really imagine. How will somebody of 50 years, having sexual intercourse with a girl of 15 or less than
15, we're even saying 12, 11.
Yes. And that is why when we...
8.
Yes, when we see some of those cases that happen, particularly when I was in the clinic, of course, we usually the first thing we do is to do mental examinations.
For who?
For the perpetrator. Yes. If eventually they probably get arrested, of course, it's something not imagined. It's unimaginable. How would somebody of 50 years, had a sexual intercourse of that age category? It's something that one cannot really explain sensibly.
Yeah, but I'm even saying the men
who
marry this girl early.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they thinking of? How does it go down from their brain to grab I saw a recent video of a girl being married off to a man, and the ceremony was done. I imagine a lot of times when my children were growing up, I would not watch African magic or even foreign movies, because I don't want them to be exposed to some of these
clips,
sexual clips.
Yeah.
And so I imagine that during that marriage, the small girl was made to kiss the man. And I'm asking myself, where did she learn it from? I don't know, I might be wrong, but...
No, you are not wrong. It's what is happening in society today. And it is something I cannot really, of course, prefer solution. That is why when we see that kind of issue that is abnormal, of course, what the first thing we look at is, does he have a mental state or something wrong with that person?
But we say it's custom, it's culture.
But that is in the northern part of the countries. Of when they've been used to it, has become part of their culture, their norms, and they even hide under religions.
Okay, Barrister, let me come to you. He just said that it's in the northern part of the country, but I tell you it happens here.
Yes, I don't deny that.
Yes, and when I say it happens here, I'm not saying our people alone in the southwest. Even the northerners now carry it out on our soil in the southwest. Now, where is the place of the law? If we say that this is not allowed, and is it right that they are in the southwest and such an act, they carry it out here? They marry off those girls even here. Is it right legally?
No. But I want to take it from your initial question, because personally I have sat down to think about these things, that how will a right-thinking man get hold of a 10, 12-year-old girl?
8!
Regardless of the coloration, be it a societal norm, be it a religious bias or anything, and begin to have sexual relationship with that child. It is all shade of reprehensible, if we must say that.
Please break that English down so that people at home can...
To my mind, it is morally wrong, no matter what. So when we see this case, we begin to think about those things. And I personally, I have made a resolution that there is no way you are going to convince me that this does not have any pedophilic coloration. Talking about pedophiles, people that have their mental state of mind just want them to be with children. Because they begin to
with children for negative reasons.
Yes, for sexual reasons. So you see them hide under the cloak of marriage. Okay, our laws permit it. Okay, our this permit it. Hide under the cloak of marriage to sexually abuse children. So I will also see it as a sexual abuse case. So, like we have said, we have laws. But how operational are these laws? Are they fully operational? No, they are not. And that is the area we need to work on. Some people will come and tell you that there are loopholes even in our constitution, the 1999 constitution as amended, where it, I think in its section 29 thereabout, where it says any girl in marriage can be equated to be of full age. That is, when a child is married, she can be regarded as
in the first place,
age.
the law says don't marry a girl. So that is a violation.
So these are contradictions.
No, the contradiction may not come to play. If you don't marry a girl, then she cannot be equated to an adult. So the first thing is, the law has been violated. So equating her to an adult is another stage of the law.
Now, what we need to understand that, as it is in Nigeria today, the 1999 Constitution as amended is the ground norm to which every other law is subjected to. So the Constitution itself, which is the ground norm, should be amended.
No, the question is, the 1999 Constitution is the supreme law.
Yes.
Does it allow us to marry a girl under 18?
Exactly now my point. It has a provision, it is in its section 29 sub 4, that says that any girl that is married can be categorized to be of full age. That is, can be categorized to be 18. Do you get the point? That any child, any girl that is married, any woman that is married, can be regarded as full age, that is a matured age, that is 18. So people have come to say that, so indirectly the Constitution might even be giving a loophole that, okay, once a girl is married, whether she is 12 or 13, once she is married, she's deemed to be of full age. So that must be addressed. Every loophole must be blocked. Then we can now begin to talk about the full domestication of the Child Rights Act. Then the law can take it.
No, I'm sorry, barrister. Yes, you are the legal expert here, but I disagree.
Okay.
That's what is stated.
No. What is stated there says that any girl in marriage can be assumed to be an adult.
Yes.
That is what is stated.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that if that child is not married, the child is married, what the law is saying. Now, marrying of a child in the first instance, that law is not saying marry of a child. It's saying when a child is married, can be assumed. So, marrying a child off is already a violation.
When a child is married, what does that mean?
How do you get to the stage of marriage?
What does that mean? It means a child can be married.
Is that your interpretation?
That is what,
yes,
of course, that is what it means. If a child is married, she is deemed to be of full age. Why should a child be married?
Then, if that is the case, then the law is culpable.
Then the law should be amended.
So who is going to amend the law?
Of course, the government.
The government.
So this is why we do this advocacy that we do at CPN, the grassroots level of CPN. We need constitutional amendment. Let it be stated clearly.
But of all the constitutional amendments we have listed for this 10th Assembly, it has not shown any face there. We have not seen any issues there.
So we need to speak louder.
Sorry, in addition to what she has said, the reason why some of these things are not really the way it should be, because those that are going to the National Assembly are supposed to be saddled with this responsibility are also culpable. And
that is the responsibilities of organizations, civil societies like Child Protection.
And that is why their own organizations are coming to be able to make corrections on
these. These are the things we do. These are the efforts we are putting into correcting all these
Now,
anomalies.
let's now talk about, okay, so the law allows, our constitution allows for a child to be married.
Not outrightly, but can be inferred.
No, if we're saying that's what the law is saying, then I think we should begin to talk about the law saying it and how we can go about it. I don't know if you understand me.
Yes.
We have now said it is there. There's a portion of the law that has
a loophole.
The loopholes are there.
Yes.
So it means that if somebody marries a child officially today and makes it public, and you charge the person to court, the lawyer can fight it out to say, look, he has a right to take this step. That's the point I'm making. So if that's the case now, we have said that the National Assembly owns the responsibility to do an amendment on this particular portion of the law.
Yeah.
How can it begin, the amendment? But before you do that, let's pay some bills. We'll be right back.
Alright everyone, no put your ears, make we talk. Time don't reach to rearrange the stars to give us a small wisdom. Sounds mighty fresh now, but you know, I beg no be so. Before I go talk, say our smile no reach. Make not think I'm try so.
Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world?
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's a time to brush. No more cover mouth.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
Welcome back. It's still Saturday special. Thank you for staying tuned. And we have been discussing about child marriage, and we have Barrister Biono with us in the studio, as well as Dr. Abdul Latif Adeoti, both talking about child marriage. Okay, so before we went on that break, we're looking at how we can begin an advocacy to get this loophole expunged from our constitution. More importantly, knowing that that particular part of the constitution is talking about elections. But of course, as a legal expert, you have said experts can hide on it. So how can we get it sorted?
Thank you so much, ma'am. What I would suggest is that we take our advocacy from the grassroots level. We have our representatives as the House of Rep. When we do more, we put in a formal proposal to them. We make them see reasons. Then they make the proposal. So I think we should focus more on the advocacy. When we begin to speak, when our voices are louder, then definitely the government will hear and they will do the needful. Then we can meet the stakeholders. We have representatives both at the state and at the federal level. So we can meet with them, make our proposals and make them see reasons.
Okay, that's on advocacy. Now let me come to Dr. Adeoti. Dr. Adeoti, yes, we are saying let's go back to the grassroots. So imagine that in our constitution, there is no loophole that allows this part to be played upon. So how do we eradicate, in our customs, child marriage, giving out the girls in marriage? How can we eradicate it?
Is it from the legal framework or from the customs?
From the customs, at the grassroots, where it's really happening.
Well, no, particularly in the Southwestern culture, no, I don't think our culture supports early marriage.
It does not support, but you have said it earlier that when a girl gets pregnant, she's giving out in marriage, no matter the age, because nobody wants to keep, see such girl as irresponsible, not minding the fact that whether she was raped, whether she did not consent, even though she's a minor, a consent does not matter in this case.
Yeah. You see, once there's no legal framework, there's less we can do. But if there's we have established a legal framework as far as the issue of early marriage is concerned, everybody will comply.
But I still feel that there's something that families can do, traditional leaders can do, religious leaders can do.
But they are also beneficiary of this issue.
That's the point. So that's why I said, how can we penetrate them to begin to see it
Yeah,
as a violation.
yes, advocacy like the agencies have been doing, and UNICEF and other people, that's what they can do at that advocacy level at the rural areas and even the urban cities.
I'd like you to share with us some of the experiences you have seen, or, you know, on the job, your experiences when it comes to the issue of child marriage. What are the ages you have seen? How did they get pregnant and, you know, was put in the family way? Did the man take responsibility? If yes, you know, what is the future of those girls like?
Yes, in my year of clinical practice, the university health service, yes, I've seen some of these cases where a child of 13 years will be get pregnant, and of course, in the course of our intervention, there was a case that we had, a 13 years lady who attended one of these around school very close to UI. The lady got pregnant, and funnily enough, the person that was involved was a 65 years man who happened to have retired from the universities, because we know where she stays. So when we had this case, the case was brought to the clinic, and working as a clinical social worker, I was deeply involved. Yes, we got him, and what really pushed that lady was poverty.
Oh, she actually consented?
Yes, she actually consented because the man was giving her 300 naira, 400 naira, and they would go to a door, one area there to go and meet, and through that, the lady got pregnant. And unfortunately, the lady was living with her grandparents, the immediate fathers and the parents. They stay in Abuja, and they were aware, but nothing they can do.
Wow.
The grandmother was doing sweeping in the university here. And how much did they pay them? Maybe 7,000 because they were under this contract. The issue of sweeping was given to as a contract. So the owner of the work was giving them 7,000 or 8,000. How would I be able to taking the economic responsibility on the guy? So they consented, and at the end of the day, what we did was to and unfortunately enough, the man was not as rich as we expected. 65 years to 13 years old, and before I even pleaded, I should be able to be dropping 3,000. It's a serious issue, and of course we have to involve the legal unit in the university. They have a legal, clinical, and the faculty of law that really weighed in so that the man could be given 3,000.
But the man ought to have been prosecuted.
Well, like you have said, there is loopholes in the law.
No, it doesn't matter. We could give it a try. It's by the discretion of the court.
Who's ready to take the initiatives?
No, once the case is reported to security agencies, they will take it up and they will charge the man to court, and he will face the music, because now we have left the girl. The girl is not married to the man, by way of saying, okay, somebody is taking responsibility. And then the girl, if you're not careful, may not be able to further education.
Yes.
I mean, she's left with the trauma. She's left in that situation.
But the parents also have their role to play. What if you are sure you are not really ready for this? Why do you go into it? Why do you leave your small daughter and say the two of you have to leave to Abuja?
Yes, but
leaving the child with the grandman, or maybe of 70 years old.
But again, I'm also saying that the man, 65-year-old man, has no right, I mean, to take advantage of the young girl.
Yes, of course. He doesn't have right. But
and that's why, okay, so let me come to Barrister. Barrister,
yes,
in the area of prosecution, when cases come up, putting the girl child in the family way, what should be done?
Thank you so much, man. Like you have rightly said, we need to understand the fact that sex offenders are prosecuted. For whatever reason, nobody has a right to take an underage child and molest them, harass them, put them in family way for whatever reason. So when those cases are reported, of course, perpetrators are prosecuted. So yes, regardless of what we're talking about is child marriage. Although they can interchange, like I said, some people can hide under that cloak to get married and begin to abuse a child. But when the marriage is outrightly there, and you take a child less than 18 years old to have anything to do with her, you will be prosecuted. So you only need to report, and we have the problem is that cases of this nature are underreported. because they want to protect the girl. Ah, you better keep quiet, don't say anything. No man will marry you again, no, and all of that. And they shut the girl up, and she begins to battle with the emotional side. I have had instances where I had to counsel a girl. She was abused, sexually abused, and she was so traumatized that it was terrible. I cried talking with her. It has degenerated to the I had to refer her to the hospital at some point. She was diagnosed with psychological depression, psychotic depression. Wow. It has gotten to that point. She was hearing voices. She could not concentrate. She could not even think of marriage. She was now 24 when I met her, but she could not even think of getting married because she could not even stand sitting close to a man like this. So these cases, these issues are very serious, and they must be given all the seriousness they entails.
Okay, let's look at the role parents should play. Parents whose children have not been abused, what role should we play to protect our children? Because whether we like it or not, well, our children protect us, and we must look after these children. How can we protect our children? Going to Doctor.
Yeah, well, the parents have is very strong roles in terms of the taking care of the children, in terms of their schoolings and giving safety to their children. And that is why when there's a high level of divorce in the societies, some of these children, some of the products from that kind of marriage suffers a lot. And that is why we usually have some of these problems that are probably underreported in the societies. So and educations, if parents are well educated, of course, they won't want their children to also fall a victim of this kind of natures. But in the rural area where we have they are not educated and they give more priority to boys than ladies. Of course, we have some of these issues that's going to be more common happenings in all the society there.
Okay.
Okay, you want to also?
Yes, I want to add to it. Apart from the serious activities being done by organizations like Child Protection Network, the parent also has a lot of work to do. And it starts from the very beginning. Parents should endeavor to have the number of children they can take care of, they can conveniently care for. Because the moment you begin to send your children, go and stay with Auntie Lagbaja, go and stay with Uncle Lagbaja, you come and do this, the children cannot feed well, they cannot clothe well, they do not have basic amenities, that is where the problem begins. You see a lot of children that has been deceived by biscuit, sweet, as an Indomie, and they, because of these minor things, their lives has been totally ruined. So the parents should endeavor to have the number of children they can take care of. And when we say take care of, we are not talking about just financially. We are talking about emotionally, psychologically. How present are you for your children? Because it is not limited to children from poor families, although the prevalence from poor families is very high. But even children from rich homes get abused, where parents are not up to their, exactly, when they are not living up to their responsibility. And one major factor that cannot be overemphasized on the issue of child marriage is poverty. When parents, they see it as a way to shift their responsibility to another person. They just say, let this one get married. At least we have less mouth to feed, we have less people to clothe. And you now talk about the issue of dowry. We have a case where some family got over $100,000 as bride price, yes. So they see it as a poverty alleviation program.
For how long would they spend the $100?
Exactly.
$100 is just less than $150.
They are concerned with the immediate gain, not thinking about the future of the girl in question.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the dollars that got them attracted. Because dollars is not
even dollar, even naira too.
Even naira, that's just a case.
Yes.
We talked about even children that has been deceived.
They'll cook chicken for that day. They'll eat chicken with jollof rice or fried rice.
Exactly.
Just for that day.
Just for that day.
And then they, what would they do again?
Sometimes people will say, I want to be an in-law to an Oba. Or somebody, a particular office holder.
Oh.
Yes.
So that's the yardstick.
Yes.
So, and it can all be rooted down in poverty.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have looked at this issue from various perspectives, and I want to go back to memory lane. I recall when I was growing up, many of us lived in houses where you live in 2 rooms, a wing, face me, I slap you. Many people lived in those houses.
Yeah.
Few lived in flats. And we were not molested. It wasn't like there were no uncles, neighbors who could have molested us. It wasn't as if they didn't make attempts. But somehow, the culture of sensitizing the children was the order of the day. Your parents will sit you down, they will tell you, remember the child of whom you are. Those sensitizations are no longer there.
Yes.
In fact, in those days, it wasn't like our parents were there 24/7. But they were always, at every opportunity, they would talk to us. Unfortunately, today, it's like it's a difficult task to talk to the children. I don't know what has gone wrong. Maybe you...
All those values and norms, they have gone.
What took them away? Where are they?
They have been eroded with Western influences.
No, I don't agree that it's Western influences.
It's Western influences.
Maybe
yes.
parents just chose not to pass on what was passed to them, to their children, by way of being selfish.
They do, because some of these children even learn a lot from the social medias.
Again,
that we are even the parents are not even know. Even some of our children know how to operate some of these things than some of us. Yes.
And
they, of course, when they watch all of these things, they see so many things there.
No, again, don't also say that we at our age too are not seeing those things or learning those things. But it's about the background, that the foundation that has been laid for us. How many parents today are laying right foundation for their children? You see parents helping their children pass exams.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Those are the foundations we are laying now.
All those values are gone.
Sir, did they help you pass exam? Did your parents help you pass exam?
Where is even my parents? In the very far low areas.
That's the point. So
yes.
You have been trained to take responsibility for yourself.
Yes.
Now, how many parents today are training their children to take responsibility rather than pampering them? Those are the issues.
Thank you so much. You have raised a very valid issue. As a matter of fact, I was privileged to speak with an head of school in one of our school advocacies, and he said, what we have these days is like children raising children. The parents don't even have the values again. So how do you expect them to hand it over to their children? That there are instances that they had invited parents to school, and when they tell them what their children have done, that they were expecting the children. In the olden days, your mother will first of all give you one slap, and you will see stars. And the parents, these days, the parents will be like, okay, I'm aware. So is there any other issue? And you'll be like, no problem. So these are the issues. Like Doctor said, this training, these values had been watered down. So that is what CPN is doing. We are going out to encourage the parents, to re-educate them. They have to learn and relearn. We have to go back to those days. Yes, like you have said, it's not as if the chances were not there for abuse, but then the parent did more. So the parents now also need to do more.
You know, those words, those days were like an ATM card given to you, you take about, and you know that before you take action, you remember the child of whom you were.
Yeah, of course.
And remembering the child of whom you didn't mean that maybe your parents had money somewhere.
Yeah, of course.
But it was about the moral values.
Yes.
Now, so again, of course, in a nutshell, you're saying that we have lost those values.
It has been watered down, seriously.
So how can we bring it back to
like
limelight?
I said, advocacy, Child Protection Network, Nigeria, or especially your state chapter that I'm a member, we are doing a lot to go out there to educate parents because they cannot hand down what they do not have. So we need to take it even from the parent level before we now go to the children level to let them see reasons. And you can say a lot of parents are after money these days. We just want to make money. Yeah, and you can see I'm running after the food they will eat, the food they will eat, so that they can do that. Yes, those are important. But much more important is the future of these children we are trying to provide for. So we should, parents must learn to balance the equation. And at Child Protection Network, we are doing the advocacy work.
I'm sorry.
And in addition to what she said, you see, in our old days when we were in the secondary school, if you did anything wrong, of course, you'll be punished. Then, we will not even get home and report to our parents. But these days, when a teacher beats any child, once they get home, they will report it. The parent will also come for a reversal on the teachers.
Well, that's quite unfortunate.
Very quite unfortunate. Yes.
But it just, dawned on me, some of this early child marriage.
Yeah.
With the situation we have in the society today, breakdown of customary norms and values.
Yeah.
Do they meet those girls virgin? Those who even marry them at 12, 13? Do they even meet them as virgins? If the purpose is to marry a virgin, it might be very difficult to say. it is
because you have no first-hand experience.
No, because I have no experience.
I'm saying
with what we are saying here, it might even be very difficult to make them virgins. Yes. Some of these things, they learn it from...
Now, even when people feel that they want to marry a child at, early stage, is it not possible? We've seen, maybe in movies, they leave those children in their family, they nurture them, see that they go to school, watch them grow.
Yeah.
Though these days, you find young girls too, running after love. Once they see the person they love, they don't mind running away to the blues, and forgetting that someone has been waiting. Yes. I don't know why this, betraying of children.
Yes. Yes. Even the betrothal of children is wrong, is illegal under the Child Rights Act 2003. Every child should be given the opportunity to grow up and chart a course for their life. No parent has the right to say, okay, this is the person you marry when you grow up. It's an offense. So talking about whether these children are met virgins or they are not, this that they give out child early marriage because they want them to meet them as virgin is just one of the factors perpetrators hide under. So in most cases, it might not even be so. And in most cases, in some other cases, it might be so. But whether it is so or not so, that is not the point. The point is, child marriage is a violation of human rights. Let these children grow up, let them come to the age of maturity and chart a course for their own life.
And I even wonder sometimes, the children in question, you marry a 12-year-old 11, which food does that child want to cook for you?
As a matter of fact, it reminded me of an instance while I was growing up in Abuja. We visited a man and we saw young girls. I thought they were children.
Oh.
I thought they were children. They were in the inner, you can't see them outside, inner chambers. We're only allowed entrance into dinner because we were also girls. So I thought they were children. It was after we left, they told me they were wives. I was like, those children are wives? And he was like, yes, they are his wives. And
wives.
You talk about cooking. We are talking cooking. We are talking about children that cannot even properly look after themselves.
Bath themselves, wash their teeth. Yes. I mean, we still tell some of our children, you didn't wash your teeth well. So I imagine them.
So
so what are doctor, what are the men enjoying? I don't know. I'm just trying to wonder. Because if there's no enjoyment, somebody must benefit from a barbaric act for it to continue.
Yeah.
So what are they enjoying in this child marriage? Yes, I know you're not doing it, so you may not, have an idea, but
because I can't really explain it. Because there must be emotions. At least you see.
Do men have emotions?
Well, in our own age, of course, we have emotions for any lady that you have interest on. You must have emotions.
I thought they said men don't have emotions.
Why?
That it's just about.
Why are not going after women?
I just want to, have your time and.
No, they don't have to be, flirting around there. No, it's not. It's ungodly.
Maybe for procreation. No.
Yeah, of course. Now you want to have a many wife and start procreating.
No. I mean, even the reason why some will get married is for procreation. They want to marry so that at least they can have children.
Of course, that's the first purpose.
So you mean men have emotions?
Yes, of course.
No, they are humans.
They are humans.
Yeah, I'm just wondering,
No.
because these are some of the myths and misconceptions
No.
around men. It's even believed that some men don't even love.
Well, I'm not talking about the younger this or this adolescent nowadays. But in those days, of course, you have emotion for anyone you so love, and you want that person to be your wife, to be your the mother of your children. So you should have emotion for her.
Now, let's look at, now we have said all of this.
Yeah.
One should also wonder the role of the Ministry of Education. A child has been in school,
Yeah.
and suddenly that child is no longer in school.
Yeah.
And they try to find out. They said, oh, the child has been married off. Don't forget, those perpetrating this child marriage act, they don't impregnate the girl first. They have a proper ceremony, marriage ceremony. And they say the child is no longer in school. Why? Because the child has been married to somebody. Should the Ministry of Education not have a policy of ensuring that every child that starts without the case of, even if there's a case of movement from relocating from a particular location to the another, the child should be able to monitor so that we can reduce the number of out-of-school children that we have in our society?
Well, I'm not really sure the Ministry of Education has a particular role for them to enforce every child to come to schools. They don't. That's not within the purview of their office. Or unless you say Ministry of Social Welfare and Women Development. They are the one that has
you should account for every child in school.
But once the parents are also involved in withdrawing her from the schools, and so they are the one that hold the child. So the ministry have a less role to play as far as that one is concerned. It is saddled with the Ministry of Social Welfare and the women development or women.
Okay,
yes.
so barrister, number of out-of-school children. I am sure very soon some of the girls we see along the road, like Idiakwe and the likes, who are begging for alms, would also be taken into marriage by somebody very soon. Is this not contributing the number of out-of-school children that we're talking about?
Yes, definitely it does.
Definitely.
And I would want to say that every child has a right to universal basic education. Every child has a right to be in school. So if a child is not in school, then there should be something should be done about it. The parent should be made answerable. The parents should be made answerable as to why that child is not in school. Because we cannot say if every parent decides to withdraw their children from school, it tells on the future of the nation. So a child should be protected, and they must ensure that children are in school. So we go out like CPN, we go to the market, we go out, you go and ask those children, why are they in school? And it all boils down to full implementation of our laws. If parents knows that they can be prosecuted if their children are not in school, then they will send those children to school.
When we were growing up, you dare not loiter around the streets.
Of course.
Because there are people, there are monitors that would naturally, if they get you on the road, you are in trouble, your parents are in trouble.
In trouble.
How come these policies no longer work? Because sometimes you go out, maybe around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you still see students, yes, in uniform, launching around, and you ask yourself, sometimes I even back to ask them, where are you going to at this time of the day? Your colleagues are in school. What's wrong with our society, doctor?
A lot is wrong with society.
Can these things be corrected?
Yes, of course, can be corrected. But first of all, we need legal framework. Once there's no any legal framework.
You have been saying legal framework.
Yes, because
break it down.
There's going to be implementation once there's a law. Whoever that perpetrator of this thing can be arrested and prosecuted. But once there's no law to this, there's a less thing you can be able to do.
Well, I would say that the government also has to be more alive.
Yes, the government has got to bring this law into implementation.
And it boils down to a lot of stakeholders, even the teachers. As a parent now, we have children, they will dress up, leave home, you drop them at the school compound.
Yes.
And before you know it, those children are on the street. So who should be held accountable? The teacher should be able to also account for the number of children in their custody. So, but everyone seems to be like Adaisaka these days. So it's aiding the problem.
I am not really totally agree on that because teachers, of course, he also has his own children too. has gotten to schools, and of course, later is going to come up by 8 o'clock. How will he know the number of students that's going to attend
They're
that
supposed to
very?
take attendance.
Yes, they do. But if you decide
especially at the younger level.
at the younger, it's very difficult to do.
It's not.
Particularly when in the urban center, it might be quite easy. But in the rural areas,
why is it difficult?
It should be.
They take attendance. There's attendance.
When they take attendance and the teachers start following them home or for your lawyer.
No, there are teachers.
Even they ask them to come for a PTA meeting, you hardly see most of those parents that will come. The teacher now report to the government. Those are the issues.
That's part of accountability.
Yes, but somebody needs to at least be in charge of that. It's not the teacher that will do that. Yes.
That's why I talked about the monitoring. We used to have supervision. Yes. We used to have those days. Yes. There were people saddled with that responsibility,
yes.
And they carried those responsibilities out.
In those days, they have a timekeeper that's going to stand by the gate, whoever that comes after so period.
What carried away the timekeeper?
That's it there, but it may not be as functional as in what we have in those days. Yeah, as it used to be.
So everybody, we cannot keep.
It's a holistic things that all of us have to be involved, including the government and the parents, even the teacher that you have already said, and the agency that's who are in charge.
Now let me ask Barrister, the gap you're talking about in the 1999 Constitution, is there any policy a state can create that can protect the girls from being married away? Policy or a law that is within the state that can cover for every girl in each state?
Yes, we have, like I said, we have the Child Rights Act. In states that it has been fully domesticated, they can run with it, prosecute with it. You understand? Yes.
Irrespective of the 1999?
Irrespective. They can prosecute it. Once it has been fully domesticated, gazetted, then it becomes a law in that state.
And don't you think that we should have maybe a part in the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law, maybe a review, after being domesticated, maybe do a review or an amendment, to say that anyone who marries a child under 18 should be sent for mental
evaluation.
Yes. Evaluation is important. It's important. They need to, like I said, that I personally cannot separate child marriage from pedophilia act, because when you talk about pedophiles, it has to do about their mental state of health. So that cannot be overemphasized. They should be checked mentally to see what is really going on.
So again, let's now come to the issue of parents. We have said parents have a lot to do. And we have said that a lot of children, parents who cannot even manage themselves, let alone marriage. And you could see this breaking down into broken marriages. You see the population of single women, whether as a widow or in our society. How can we reshape our society? Because the end result is what we have as child marriage. When the home is not settled, it has effect on the children, and at the end of the day, we have girls being violated and being put in the family way. Let me start with Doctor. Doctor, how can we reshape our society?
Well, it's going to be holistic involved. Every stakeholder has to be involved. The parents, the government, even the community has to be involved, and the religious leaders too. Of course, like she has really said, that one should be able to know the number of children you can have, and you have the economic power to take care of. Let me also digress a little bit. In the university here, we have some of our professors, of course, a professor as the bar had only 2 children. You see somebody on level 2 that has maybe 6 children. The salary itself is not even enough for him or her to be able to take care of the child. So it has to start from the parents. If you are depending on your level, if you know you cannot have more than that, you cannot be able to take care of more than 2, limit yourself to that. Yes. Or 1, if that's what you can be able to take care of, and of course you expect a kind of return by the time you get hold. Then the government too. the government, of course, like issue of the law we have been seeing, is their purview. It's the government that can roll out all this law, and of course, once the law is ruled, those that's going to be involved in terms either the police or the agency that are said with their responsibility to do their work. Then the religion leaders too, either as the clergyman, the imam, or the pastors, because we go to churches, we also go to mosques on 5 times daily. All these things need to be, echoed to people's here, particularly the parents, so that we know that the issue of the rate of divorce in the society is common, and that is eventually what you're going to have is the issue of all these children that are not under any control. And once a child is not under any control, and of course you will come in the morning and also want to eat, so it's likely going to be is vulnerable at that levels. So she can do and undo. So it's a collective effort of everybody, including the parents, the government, the regional leaders, and the community itself, so that all these problems we are discussing can be reduced to the barest minimum.
Okay, so let's look at the child's right law. If you look at it on a scale of 1 to 10, the implementation, where would you put the implementation of the child's right law?
The implementation or the provision, do you mean?
Implementation.
The implementation, well, I'll give it a 7/10 because it does not, the major problem may not be even with the law. Like we said, cases of this nature are underreported because so people need to be enlightened, and that is part of what Child Protection Network or your state chapter is doing, to encourage people to speak out. It is only when you speak out that the law can protect you. But the moment you're quiet, you are giving the perpetrator power to even go after another person.
Yeah.
So it is important that people speak out and get help. And like you said before, the issue of the divorce rate, how they has a lot to do with the quality of children we are producing, because whether people want to understand it or not, there is a role of mother in the life of a child, and there is a role of a father. So the moment each party begins to think, I can do everything on my own, I can be the father, I can be the mother at the same time, then there is a problem. So people should learn. Yeah, people have reasons why they divorce, but if maybe people can be more tolerable in their marriage, then maybe the children will also turn out better. And then also before they go into these marriages, because I, as a lawyer, I've seen many divorce cases, I've handled many. We have seen marriages break down in less than 1 month of marriage, 2 weeks. So you begin to ask them, why did you get married in the first place? So people should evaluate the reasons why they are getting married. What is prompting them into the marriage? If it's for selfish reasons, there's no way it's not going to break down. And when marriages break down, the children are the most affected.
Okay, so now moving forward, I'd like you to also advise all the parties involved, parents who are fond of, and if you look at it, most of these parents who give their girls out, they usually give birth to many children.
Yes.
So what advice will you give them for those that have not been given out in marriage?
Well, to parents, they should, especially when we are talking about the girl child, the parents should learn to attach more importance to the life of a girl child other than just being a wife and a mother. Of course, that's an important role too, but her life is not limited to that. If you understand the fact that girl child makes great lawyers, great doctors, engineers, and all of that, and they should be willing to support them to any level. We have to silence this inequality that maybe a boy child is more productive and all of that. We should begin to see girl child as a great, with the great potentials that they have. So it will go a long way to the parents like we have said, have the number of children you can comfortably take care of, and to the best of your ability, take care of your own children. Stop delegating. Stop delegating the responsibility of taking care of your own children to other people. Okay, you to other people, you go and stay with so person and all of that. These things cause problems. So those are one of the things parents should look into. Of course, the government should do law reforms and make sure that our laws are up to the task and they are fully implemented in states that they have not been fully domesticated.
All right, Doctor, what advice will you give out to all the stakeholders involved in child marriage?
Yes, for the parent, the advice I will give is that giving your child marriage at early stage is dangerous, and you should remember that at a point in time you come of age. Send them to school so that by the time they come out from school, they get educated and they got employment, they will be able to take care of you when you are old. Then to the government, like the lawyer said, the government should expedite action on the loopholes that is there in the 1999 constitutions. Then the regional leaders should also come up and do the needful as far as these issues are concerned, because they are becoming a nuisance in our societies. It's not really heading for us.
Wow. It's been a great time having you both on the program this morning, as we've been looking at child marriage, the causes, the implication, and of course the way forward. And I must say a big thank you to you on behalf of our producers and crew member. Thank you for coming, Dr. Abdul Latif Adeoti, a medical social worker at the Premier University of Ibadan. Thank you very much for
Thank you
coming
for having me.
All right, and also to Barrister Adesu Misola Abiono, who is a legal practitioner and a member of the Your State Child Protection Network. Thank you for joining us on the program, for both sharing your wealth of knowledge with us and addressing this menace in our society. We want to thank you very much this morning. All right, we'll go on a break, and when we come back, it will be a global update. Stay with us. Don't go away.
It's another edition of Global Update on Saturday Special on BCOS Television, Iliake Derita Bashon, right here in the city of Ibadan. My name is Bimbo Akombi. At least 3 aid workers have been killed and 4 others wounded in a drone attack by the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, on an aid convoy in Sudan's South Kordofan state, according to the Sudan Doctors Network, in the latest carnage against civilians caught up in the nation's brutal civil war. The convoy of trucks carrying food and humanitarian supplies was targeted by the RSF and its ally, the Sudan People's Liberation Movement, North, while traveling through the Katala area on its way to the cities of Kandugli and Diling on Thursday. The network said that this attack marked the second such incident in less than a month, following the shelling of a United Nations aid convoy in the town of Al-Rahad, adding, "This dangerous escalation threatens the safety of humanitarian operations and further exacerbates civilian suffering." The Sudan Doctors Network reiterated its call to the international community, the United Nations, and human rights organizations to exert urgent and effective pressure on the leadership of the Rapid Support Forces to ensure the protection of aid convoys and their workers, to open safe and sustainable humanitarian corridors, and to hold those responsible for targeting aid accountable. The RSF and the SAF have been waging a brutal civil war for control of Sudan since April 2023, which has killed thousands of people and displaced millions. Yemeni security forces have killed at least 1 person and wounded 11 as a crowd linked to the secessionist Southern Transitional Council (STC) attempted to storm the gate of the Al-Mashik Presidential Palace in Aden An Al Jazeera Arabic correspondent reported exclusive footage of the shooting purporting to show several wounded individuals as sight was shown. The shooting took place on Thursday after Prime Minister Shahya Mohsen Al-Zindani held the first meeting of the country's internationally recognized government, which sits at the Al-Mashik Palace. The secession took place amid opposition demonstrations, according to the Sabah news agency. In a statement saying, the Aden Governorate Security Committee said that security personnel responded in a lawful manner to armed protesters who tried to enter the area to carry out acts of sabotage. The committee added that it will not tolerate any involvement in acts of chaos or attacks on security forces. According to the STC, at least 21 people were wounded. The group condemned what it called the excessive use of force and live ammunition against demonstrators and called for the establishment of a committee to investigate the incident. It also appealed to the international community to take action over the systematic repression against people of the southern governorates. A collision between a truck and a passenger pickup in Egypt's northeastern Port Said province has left 18 people dead, mostly fishermen, and 3 others injured, according to reports. The crash at approximately 12:30 local time on Thursday occurred on the 30 June Axis Highway to the south of Port Said, according to Egypt's state-run Al-Aram newspaper. Survivors of the collision are being treated in hospital, and public prosecutors have launched an investigation into the circumstances of the accident, according to Al-Aram. Images from the scene of the accident posted online showed the aftermath of the crash, with a pickup truck crushed between 2 large cargo trucks and debris scattered across the road. AP said the pickup truck was transporting fishermen to work at fish farms in the coastal Port Said area. Attending the inaugural meeting of United States President Donald Trump's Board of Peace in Washington, D.C. on Thursday, Egyptian Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli said his condolences to the victims of the collision and ordered that financial assistance be provided to relatives of the deceased and injured. In the meantime, the United States has dispatched fighter jets after multiple Russian military aircraft were observed operating in international airspace near Alaska, according to the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD. 2 95s, 2 Su-35s, and A-50 were detected and tracked, operating in Alaska's Air Defense Identification Zone at these, NORAD said in a statement on Friday, adding that it responded by sending 2 F-16s, 2 F-35s, and 1 E-3 and 4 KC-135s. It said the Russian aircraft did not enter U.S. or Canadian sovereign airspace and that they were escorted until they departed Alaska's Addis. While Russia's Ministry of Defense has not issued a statement, NORAD said that Russian aircraft are regularly observed in Alaska's Addis and that this type of activity is not seen as a threat. Countries including the United States, China, India, and Japan have unilaterally declared Addis that require foreign military aircraft to identify themselves upon entering a specific zone of airspace. This was the first time that Russia and Chinese bombers are known to have flown together over the North Pacific, marking a further expansion of the country's military cooperation and raising concerns among the US and its allies about regional stability. And finally, Indonesia, Morocco, Kazakhstan, Kosovo, and Albania have pledged to send troops to Gaza. The commander of a newly created International Stabilization Force, ISF, has said during a meeting of United States President Donald Trump's so-called Board of Peace. U.S. Army General Jasper Jeffers, who has been appointed as the head of a future Gaza Stabilization Force by Trump's board, said on Thursday that the Indonesian contingent to the mission has accepted the position of deputy commander. Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto, who was among several world leaders participating in the meeting, said his country would contribute up to 8,000 personnel to the planned force to make this peace work in the war-torn Palestinian territory where Israel's genocide has killed at least 72,000 people. Kazakhstan's President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev said his country will also send an unspecified number of troops, including medical units, to Gaza, while Morocco's Foreign Minister Nasser Bourita said that his country is ready to deploy police officers to Gaza. Albania, whose prime minister recently made a 2-day official visit to Israel, has also said it will contribute troops, while neighboring countries, Egypt and Jordan, have said they will participate by training police officers. Indonesia, which was one of the first countries to commit to sending troops, has sought to reassure potential critics that its participation is intended to ensure international law is upheld in Gaza amid Israel's genocidal onslaught. And that will be all on today's edition of Global Update on Saturday Special. My name is Bimbo Akombi. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, welcome back. Thank you. That was Global Update by Bimbo Akombi. All right, of course, on this note, we have to call it a day, saying big thank you to everyone who's been part of the program, our guests, of course, saying a big thank you to our producers and crew members, of course, for making this happen today. Of course, we'll come back your way again next week, Saturday. My name is Jadesola Ajibola. Remember, do not give out your girls out in marriage. Allow them to fulfill destiny, to be ripe for marriage, so that they can be the best in that marriage. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
ibi gẹ̀rẹ̀jẹ̀ là bá gbà o ètò ìyára tún dé pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ àgbà yóò bá fi làákàyè paṣámọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ wọn ní báyé bá ń tojú àgbà bàjẹ́ wọn láì mọ̀ wá hùrù wọn ni ẹ̀gbọ́n náà báwo ni tàgbàlagbà ṣe jẹ́ pẹ̀láyé tó ń bàjẹ́ ó mọ̀ dọ́wọ́ ẹ̀yin afọgbọ́n kún tinú ẹni àmúlélẹ̀ kẹ́ ẹ bá wa dá sí i ká tó lọ sábàlá tí ń ti orí ìròyìn láti bẹ̀ láti tàtàpọ̀ lọ gbàlejò lóyè Moses Gbádégẹṣin Adéyanjú baálẹ̀ Adémilókun Ògúnjìmí tilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn kára ó lé bàbá o àgbà ò sì ní tán lórílẹ̀ lábala àlejò yìí ni bàbá ó ti máa fọgbọ́n àgbà òye àgbà dáhùn onírúurú béèrè tí ó máa jẹyọ lórí àkòrí tá a pè ní ojúṣe àwọn olórí agbègbè láwùjọ wa wọ́n ní etí nìkọ́rọ̀ sí èwe ikùn nìkọ́rọ̀ sí àgbà bàgbà bá ṣe gbọ̀nsẹ̀ ìdájí bójúmọ́ bá mọ́ wọ́n sọ ọ́ dìgbọ̀nsẹ̀ ìwé ni torí pọ́mọdé ní í ṣe ni àgbà kan kì í ṣèèyàn ńlá fi máa béèrè pé irú bo ló ti yẹ ká bó lórí agbègbè irú bo ni ò sì ti yẹ ká bá wọn tágbàlagbà wọn ò fi ní mọ̀ ṣe láńgbáláńgbá àwọn ọ̀nà wo ni wọ́n lè gbà láti ran agbègbè wọn lọ́wọ́ fún dàgbàsókè àwùjọ ǹjọ́ tí ẹ yẹ kó lórí agbègbè ó jó lóṣèlú bí ẹ má jẹ́ àfọ̀pápọ̀ ọ̀lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀lọ́ ká pàdé lọ́jọ́ ìsinmi tó ń bọ̀ láago 6 àárọ̀ sáago 7 fábala àkọ́kọ́ àti láago 7 àárọ̀ sáago 8 fábala àlejò níkànnì 98.5 Olúyọ̀lé FM 96.3 Òkè Ògùn FM 92.1 Ajílétí FM lórí tẹlifíṣàn ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àti lórí ìtàkùn àgbáyé tẹ́rẹ̀ ìdárayá náà sì ní gbẹ̀yìn èyí àrà ọ̀rọ̀ dọ̀rọ̀ àgbà lórí ètò ẹ kú ojú lọ́nà.
And the angel of the Lord answered and said, He is not here, for he is risen